Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello to you. Oh, well, that's fun. Hello to you wherever you are. I am literally trying to get on live, but my other phone is dying, so I had to go to the trap phone. So give me just a second. Give everybody some time to get on too, and I will get this party started here, and then we can. Hey, what up, though? How are you? Okay. Boom. Okay. All of the things are done. We can hop in and do what we need to do. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the party. We are on day one of our first fruit fast. So, let me backtrack and get you together. Let me introduce you to who I am. My name is Trisha J. I am co-leader of Truth Seekers International. We are a fasting and praying ministry. We believe in going word for word, line for line, precept upon precept in the Bible. And so, where am I going? It's not Sunday. I'm not going all the way to John because I was definitely going to John. So, because it's the first 3 days of the month, we do fast. And so, we are on day one. I want to get some things going for us. Let's go ahead and talk about our foundational scripture for the year. Our anchor scripture, it is behold, Isaiah 43 verse 19. Behold, I'm doing a new thing, shall you not perceive it? I'm making ways in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And so we keep talking about this is a year of beholding. You're going to see some things that you've never seen, and the Lord is dealing a lot when it comes to the prophetic realm, prophetic people, and he's just not playing in this time. So you're going to see some things that you've never seen before. You're going to experience some things that you've never seen before. And we just keep talking about that. It is technically June 1st when you're watching this. So I will be on the upcoming Saturday to give our June prophecy, so our prophetic post for the month, and that's when I'll share some more things. But we already know things, right? We've already been talking about how shipping containers are empty or halfway filled; they're not all the way there. Those sort of things. So we need to be planting food. Memorial Day just passed, so now it's go time. Based on when the last frost of the winter season it's come and gone. It's go time. We need to be doing the things. So I'll share more about that later, but I just want to make sure that I put that out there. Today, day one, we are fasting from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., abstaining from all the things, drinking water only, or if you're doing a liquid fast, or only liquids. I always say just you and the Lord have a conversation, talk about what it is that you need to abstain from, and go from there. Okay. So I'll send out the list if you need it. We have a graphic. I wish you could post graphics. I don't know why that's not a thing, YouTube, but we'll share the graphic if you need it, and I'll be sending out an email Monday morning with all of the information for the fast and just everything that's coming up. Okay, so let's get this party started. I don't want to hold you all too long, but I want you to have a little something to meditate on, just to help get you through the day. So we are going to start our conversation off in the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verses. Well, let's just start at 10. Let's just do that. So, Genesis chapter 28. We're going to start at verse 10. Okay. I am reading from the ESV version. Okay. I just want to put that out there because words matter. So sometimes you'll hear it in a different translation and they don't say the same thing. Like the message version is very much giving AAVE, is giving hood, it is giving is everything okay? Are y'all okay over there? But it does help to translate the ideas of what's being said in the text versus translating word for word. So, no judgment here. Pick what translation you need to understand, but always memorize King James. Okay? So, if you're watching live, go ahead and type in live. If you're watching replay, type in replay. Also, let me know where y'all watching from. I love to, come back and see whenever I have time. That's neither here nor there. But when I catch y'all live, we lit. You already know. All right, so we're starting at chapter 28, verse 10. And Jacob left Beersheba and went to Haran. He reached a certain place and spent the night there because the sun had set. He took one of the stones from the place, put it there at his head, and lay down in that place. Sidebar. I cannot sleep with a hard pillow. How is this man sleeping on a stone? That's wild times, okay? But he lay down in that place. Verse 12, and he dreamed a stairway was set on the ground with its top reaching the sky, and the angels, God's angels, were going up and down on it. The Lord was standing there beside him, saying, I am the Lord, the God of your father, Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your offspring the land on which you are lying. Your offspring will be the dust of the earth, and you will spread out toward the west, the east, the north, and the south. All the peoples on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. Look, behold, really. Okay. Look, I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go. I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. Verse 17, he was afraid and said, what an awesome place this is. This is none other than the house of God. We call that Bethel. In any other translation, this is the gate of heaven. Let's stop there. All right, so if you don't know who Jacob is, he's been a little trickster for quite some time, okay? He has been, honestly, if we look at his story and even the birth that his mom had with the twins, we get a glimpse of what Jacob's character is going to be. So we will call Jacob a scammer in today's day and age, okay? Jacob has been a scammer. He's been scamming. He don't care who he scam, as long as he gets what he wants out of the deal. So his character is not that great, okay? So I want to make sure that I paint that picture, because many times when we talk about Jacob's ladder, his character is never in question. He is a pretty shady dude, okay? And that's okay for now, because there's more to the story. And so Abraham is really his grandfather, and Isaac is his dad. He is literally fleeing from home for his life because he literally just tricked Esau out of his blessing. Okay, so when you go back a chapter or two, he literally just tricked Esau out of his blessing. Okay, and Esau is ready to not only put hands on him, but he's ready to off him. Okay, and so he's running to his uncle's house for safety, for refuge, and this is all because of him being a person that is deceptive, right? Now, I do want to stick a little caveat in there, because if you go back, because context is key, Esau is so mad with the family because they've already blessed Jacob, can't take the blessing back. He begins to marry outside of his boundaries. His father already told him who he needs to be marrying and who he needs to stay away from. And it's like pretty much he's spiting his father, marrying people that he would not approve of. So I'm telling you this to say, many times when you're like Vacation Bible School and that sort of thing, we kind of paint the picture like Esau is this morally high character. He's not a great person in the heart either. Okay, so both of them have character flaws. Both of them have heart issues that they need to work through. But I call that out to say that kind of solidifies why God is also okay with not. We're not breaking promises. We already gave the blessing. So you really just prove with your actions why you weren't worthy of this blessing in the first place. Okay. So let's get back to Jacob the trickster. And he definitely is a trickster. When we see the ladder, which also when you really start to dig into the Hebrew text, some people call it the stairway. So, fun fact, just want to share that with you. But really, it's a bridge between heaven and earth. And we call that a spiritual portal right now. We call that a portal because we're in the middle of a series called Spiritual Intelligence. You got to know there are things happening even beyond your eyesight. You know that there are things happening in the spirit realm. And so we get a picture and a glimpse of that in the Bible in this particular story. And so whether you call it a ladder or a stairway, either way, God's angels are ascending and descending from heaven onto earth. And God is literally at the top watching what's happening. Okay? So these angels we see are constantly moving. Now, if you know me, if you've been around for a while, you know I call angels our personal secret service. They're messengers for us. They guard and protect us. You know, we don't worship them. We don't talk to them like that. You talk to God. But they're there, okay? And they're working on our behalf because they work for God. So there's that. I call them our secret service. And so we see them working, right? We already know the character of Jacob, but they're literally working on his behalf. God is sending them, his angels, not the fallen ones, not to be mistaken with the fallen angels. He's sending his angels to do work on behalf of Jacob. Now, Jacob is not saved right now, okay? Jacob, his character is a little murky. He's in the middle of a pickle right now, and he's running away from his problems that he caused. He caused these problems, okay? And God is still moving on his behalf. God is still with him. God is still allowing these angels. And so we're seeing these angels constantly moving on behalf of Jacob. They're handling business and they're ascending and descending on the ladder or the stairway, okay? So I want to make sure that I call those things out. But even with all of that, what does God say? He says, when we go back to verse 13, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. So he doesn't even say, I'm your God yet. Okay, we don't even have a personal relationship yet. You just know me because of what your parents have shown you. You just know me because of what you've seen with your grandparents. So that's where we are. He said, I'm the Lord your God. That's usually what we hear, right? That's not what he says this time. He says, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. And he still gives them a promise. I will give you and your offspring the land on which you're lying. Your offspring will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out toward the west, the east, the north, and the south. He keeps going. So Jacob, although he has this murky character, he gets a multifaceted promise with 3 provisions. So the first provision in this promise is land. He's going to get the land of Canaan. That's the land that we're talking about. So he gets land. The second provision of the promise is he gets descendants. Jacob's not married yet. Jacob doesn't even know who his wife is going to be just yet. But God is giving him a promise that these things are going to happen in his life, and he doesn't even serve him just yet. Okay? So his descendants, they will be the dust of the earth. They will be like the dust of the earth. Okay? So that's the second provision. The third provision, not me smacking child. The third provision is blessing. Okay? So he is going to bless the descendants so much so that all the families of the earth will be blessed through his descendants. So it's very purposeful. And so he's having this dream and getting this spiritual download because he's at a portal. Okay. Um, and so I love that he says, uh, when he wakes up, he says, surely the Lord was here and I didn't even realize it. Like he affirms it. He affirms the presence of the Lord, but he missed it. How many of us do that? So, um, before we move on, I want to talk about Jacob's ladder just real quick. Um, the ladder, yeah, I know. Everything is a symbol. Everything is symbolic. The ladder is really a symbol for what Jesus is for us. And y'all know we have been in the book of John, so I want to take a minute and go to the book of John, chapter 1, verse 51. Okay? Because I don't want y'all to just think I'm making this up, calling Jesus a ladder, because that's crazy. But Jesus actually calls himself a ladder between heaven and earth. In John chapter 1, verse 51. And I'm still reading from ESV. He says, then he said, truly, I tell you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. What did we just see in Genesis 28? I'll remind you, we just saw in Genesis 28, he went to sleep and he dreamed. And what is happening, John? You not sorry you went out that door knowing I was doing all the things, honey bunch? We good? Okay. Okay. All right. So now that the interruptions are gone, God's angels were going up and down on this stairway in verse 12. But Jesus just told us he's going to be that stairway or that ladder. Hello there. Hello, somebody. Christ is supposed to be and has always intended to be our mediator. Okay? Which is why we pray in Jesus' name. He's the mediator. He goes and takes the things that we're concerned about to Abba Father. So I just love how Old Testament scriptures connect to New Testament scriptures. And anytime we can connect the dots, I just love to do it. So I just wanted to pull that out, call that out. Jacob recognizes that God wasn't there, right? I mean, God was there. He recognizes God was there, but he missed it. He's like, surely the Lord was here and I missed it. I'm over here sleeping. God is here. He anoints the stone and makes it a sacred place with oil. That's significant. This is one of the first times that we'll see an anointing happen. But also he made a vow to God. So I really wanted us to take some time to unpack the vow, because he starts off very strong, and I don't mean strong in a good way. I mean, the baby says if is very conditional. Like that's where we're going with this. You just acknowledge that the Lord was in this space and you knew it not. That's crazy. So if the Lord was there, and you know it's the Lord, what up though? You have enough head knowledge, you know how we be. Been in church your whole life, so you know what God looks like. You've seen it happen. You just seen too much extra, right? So you've seen how your parents move. You've seen how God has moved on behalf of Abraham. That's your granddad. You've seen how God has moved on behalf of Isaac. That's your dad. He's the promised child, okay? You know when you're a promised kid, baby, everybody got to know it. Everybody got to know it. So you don't think that as his child, he wasn't going to tell you that he was the promised child, about how his daddy took him up on a mountain and bound him up and was about to kill him. Like, might have a little PTSD. Like, you were going to hear that story. So I got 2 promised kids. Well, I got a miracle baby and I got a promised child. Okay, so Lolly is my miracle baby. Y'all know that story. She will let you know in a hot millimeter second. You can't do that. I'm the miracle baby. You can't treat me like I'm the miracle baby. But Dubby, John is our promised child. So I had him last, but I saw him first. I was having dreams about him first. So I was just thinking I was going to be one and done because I didn't want to have kids. The Lord showed me him. I was like, okay, he finally got me to say, yes, I'm going to have this son. It's going to be good. We're going to have the promised child. It's going to be amazing. I'm okay with just having Isaac. You know, we don't have to have all these extra siblings. We don't need to do all that. In my own finite reasoning, he will let you know he is the promised child. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody don't like that. But he would absolutely let you know. So I'm saying all that to say we know that Jacob knows this story. It's not a secret. Okay? And so even though he knows this story, even though he's been to the synagogue, he has God-fearing parents and grandparents. So they're instilling all of the things in him, right? Remember, train a child up in the way that he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. That doesn't mean that you don't experience life along the way. So we're watching Jacob in his scammer phase. His character is very shaky. He is scamming. He scammed his brother out of his blessing, and now he is skedaddling on to the next. Okay, so with that, he's seen God. He's recognized that this is God. So shout out to him for that. His spiritual intelligence, his IQ is high enough to know, I know God when I see it. I haven't had an authentic God experience myself. This is his first authentic God experience where God is talking to him. That's why we're documenting this thing. Okay? And so he makes a vow to God. This is the first one that we see that's conditional. Okay, so he starts strong with if. If God be with me and keep me safe. Boy, don't you know God's already been doing that? Hello, you see the angels ascending and descending down the stairway to the ladder? He's already doing that for you. You were supposed to be murked off. Your brother wanted to murk you. You're supposed to be out of here. God's grace is what's covering you, even through all your shakiness. And you start off the vow with if, he's already doing these things, duh. You're missing it. So you have, it's giving Peter with the spiritual intelligence. So you have enough to know, you got word knowledge, right? You know enough, they've imparted enough in you to be like, oh yeah, that's God. But you don't have that experience with God. And so now you're like, well, I know that, but I don't know. So if you are with me, so he breaks it down into 4 conditions. If you be with me and keep me safe, he's already been doing that. Mind you, you're not even really saved like that, okay? He's already doing that, and you don't even recognize him as your God. He's already with you. He's letting you know he's with you. He's letting you know he's protecting you. He's already doing this, okay? Condition number 1, if you give me food to eat, I beg your pardon. Because I've never seen a scripture where Abraham and Isaac were out here starving. They were rich. They were rich. And so you're talking about if God gives you some food to eat, you gotta be kidding me. So that's one. If you give me clothes to wear, do we not do this? I hope you see yourself in this. Do we not do this? And then we get to complaining because it's not Louis Vuitton or St. John or some purple label, something crazy. And it's like, but you got a closet full of clothes and swear you don't have nothing to wear. I'm already taking care of you. What more do you want from me? So if you're with me and keep me safe, if you give me food to eat, if you give me clothes to wear, and if you bring me back to my father's house safely. I mean, we so trifling. Because tell me we don't do this. He just gave God all these conditions. And he's running away from home. He clearly wants to be back home. He loves his mom. He loves his dad. But he has character issues. If you bring me back safely to my father's house, then, so we starting off hard with the if you do all these things, then The Lord Yahweh is what he says, which means covenant God will be his God. I said, oh, that's what we're doing. So I'll read it in the ESV version because I just kind of broke it down. Okay. So we are starting at verse 20. Then Jacob made a vow, if God will be with me and watch over me during this journey I'm making, if he provides me with food to eat and clothing to wear, and if I return safely to my father's family, then the Lord will be my God. You got to do all of this and then I'll serve you. I need to have a house. I need to have the picket fence. I need to have the kids and the husband and the good job, and then I'll serve you. Y'all know Pastor John's story. I kept telling him, you're supposed to be a pastor. Not even realizing what that would mean for me. I just saw it on, I knew he's supposed to be a pastor. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that in my 50s, 60s, 70s when I retire. But first, I'll serve you if I get to do this, and this. I need to do all of the other things first. I need to follow all of my other dreams first. If you let me do, my CAD and music and have a family and have money and have nice cars and all the things, then I'll serve you later on at the end of my life. That's not what God asks for. Why do we do that? We're so conditional. Then, it's always the then. But he says, then the Lord will be my God. So go ahead and underline or circle if and then, because that's all conditional. But if we pay attention to prophecy, we get if and thens too. Just saying. Just saying. And then people get mad at the prophet because you didn't do the if. You just focused on the then. The blessing doesn't come until you do the if part. If you do this, then the Lord will do that. And so basically he's seen this. So he's been in church. He's been in the synagogue enough to know. But it really just highlights the level of distrust that he has. Like, I don't have enough relationship with you. So let me give you some stipulations. I need some collateral. That's pretty much what's happening here. So he is the first of the patriarchs to give a conditional vow. Abraham has been making vows to God. Isaac, the promised child, has been making vows to God. And Jacob, bless his little heart, he's given a vow to God. He doesn't have a real relationship with God yet. And it got the nerve to be conditional. Sir, I beg your finest pardon. What is happening? So he only acknowledges God as the God of Abraham and Isaac from this point forward. He's still not saying he's my God. I am acknowledging who you are and who you have been for my parents and my grandparents. But I don't know you to be that guy yet. You still on probation. If you do all these things, then you'll be my God. Right now, you're not my God. We got to figure that part out. I'm trying to see if you're going to keep your word, if you're going to keep your promise to me. And I'll take it a step further, because not only do we do the if and then, we give God a timeline. Well, I'm not having kids if I can't have them before 30. If I'm not having kids. If I'm 40 and I ain't got no kids, I'm just not doing it. Who said it? Who said that? Who told you that? Because the Bible that I be reading, it has shown me women who have had babies, miracle babies, after they've had the change. So you mean to tell me you ain't got no parts in there, or they just ain't working, and you still popping out a baby? You can't tell me that's not a miracle. But it's also God's timing. We are always trying to put God on our timeline when he doesn't even stand in time. He stands outside of time. He has always been, always was, always is, always will be, created our little finite tales, and we got the nerve to put him on the timeline. If you do this, then I'll serve you, but you got to do this in this timeline too. Because if it don't fit this timeline, then you just can't be God. You don't keep your promises. I'm mad with you. I remember he checked me so hard because I've always been a type A person, okay? You got free parents. somebody got to have some structure. So I've always been the structured person. I've always been the mama, right? I was the kid being the mama. And I just remember at like 11 writing out the list of things that I was going to do to be successful in my life, because I didn't like my living conditions. I didn't like any of it, okay? So in my little 11-year-old mind, this is what success looks like. So I was going to accomplish all of these things by 30. Because 30 was old in my mind, so that was a lot of time. I'm for real. It was when you're 11, you're old, right? My kids, they swear that I'm old, and I'm just like, I'm just getting started. You haven't even lived yet. I'm just getting started. So some of the things on the list was like, I'm gonna write books, right? I've always known I'm a writer, so I'm gonna write books. I'm gonna travel the world. I'm gonna buy properties. I'm gonna own stock. Um, what else did I say? Own a house. I was going to have my master's and my PhD before 30 and be a millionaire. I've literally done everything except for the PhD. I never want to see another school again in my life. The Lord literally has to tell me to go back to school for a PhD to happen. I don't want to do it. 11-year-old Trisha thought she needed to be a doctor in order to be successful. Okay. I don't know why that was what society told me. That was what my peers told me. So, all right, well, I'm not going to be a medical doctor, but I'll give you a PhD for sure. At 11, I just thought that this was the plan. And so here I am, having my 5th child at 29, and I am far from a millionaire. Yes, me too. And so I'm far from a millionaire. As a matter of fact, just to show you how God really liked to be playing with me. As a matter of fact, on my 30th birthday, I remember my lights got turned off. They shouldn't have gotten turned off, but they got turned off. And so I'm like, why are my lights off? I paid the bill. We're not behind. And I only had I can't remember. My midwife, my spiritual midwife, I got midwives. So when I'm pushing some stuff, Prophet Antoinette, she's one of them, she knows. But my midwife, Shamama knows. I was talking to her that day, and I sent her a screenshot of my bank account. It was bad. It was like 21 cents in there or something, okay? On my 30th birthday, with the lights getting cut off, and I got all these kids. So, here I am on my own timeline. God, if you do all of these things, then I'll be a success and you'll be good and I'll follow you and do everything that you want me to do. I don't have 2 of those things still. I'm not a millionaire. I'm totally fine with that. I got peace. I'm happy. I'm living a good life. My kids are healthy. Like, all is well. But there was this lack of trust that I had with the Lord. We didn't have a close relationship like I thought we did. Like, the Lord is trying to take me deeper in him. And I'm like, yep, but here go the conditions. I'll go deeper if you do all of these things, then I'll go deeper. Then I'll be your best friend. And then I'll serve you and serve you the way that you think I need to serve you. Like, that is literally what Jacob is giving. So he only acknowledges God as the God of Abraham and Isaac from this point forward, until he gets his life together. Okay, so this literally shows his lack of trust and surrender. But the crazy thing is, what does God do? Because he's so gracious. He is the key person that taught me always be gracious. Because, baby, sometimes he be wanting to turn up too, and it's always us like, but Lord, you showed us how to be gracious. If it's just 5 people, if it's just, will you please not annihilate these people? Lord, I'm praying against judgment on America right now. Every morning we get up and pray on Sunday. I'm praying. That's the first thing I'm praying. Even before we start recording, I'm praying against the judgments that we are receiving right now. Because if the remnant will humble themselves and fall on their knees and pray and yield to the Lord, he'll heal the land. So hello, you know the word, use it. I'm literally praying against those judgments right now. Okay? But in all of his graciousness, he's still keeping his boy. He's still keeping him even though he's a scammer. He's still keeping him even though he isn't, doing what he needs to be doing. And he's still giving him promises. So, let's talk about it because I don't even think I gave y'all the title, which is hilarious, but it's fine. If you're taking notes, I hope that you've been taking notes. Minister Tiffany, this is what we'll put in the title for the update because I just got on. So when you update it, it is Finding Your Divine Access Point. So Jesus being the ladder or the stairway is literally your divine access point. Okay? So, how do you find your access point? How do you find your divine access point? I got a few points for you. Like to hear? Here you go. Number 1, you have to surrender. Do you know what surrender really means? We sing the song, all to Jesus I surrender all. But I'm still going to hold on to this unforgiveness. I'm still going to hold on to my money. I'm still going to hold on to everything I think life is supposed to be. I'm going to hold on to all of these things. Now, if you do all of the rest of the things that I asked you to, then I'll serve you. That's not surrender. So, y'all know I'm working on editing a book and I need to start writing another one. The next book is called Submission Isn't Kryptonite. And I have literally been talking about this concept for years. And so I wrote out the outline years ago. I think I was pregnant or I had just had number 2. So that's circa 2008. God gave me a digital download. I thought I was about to write this book and blow up, y'all. Okay. He was like, no, I'm going to need you to sit on that because you got to go through some things before you write that. Well, I beg your pardon, Lord. Okay. And it's so crazy because when I first wrote the concept of the book, it was all focused on marriage and all focused on women in marriage, right? Because the focus is usually us in marriage. If a woman submits, but guess what? The man submits to Christ too. Christ submits to God. Like there's a whole cycle. And so God has definitely expanded my thought process on surrendering. And that just means coming under someone who has power. You're coming under the power. That's surrendering and submitting. And so you're giving up your thought process on what you think or how you think things should be. You got to get to a space of surrendering to get to your access point. And so with that, because if you're anything like me, John says I have, is it a terabyte of memory? Something crazy. He's like, you need a dual core processor because the way your brain is crazy. Like you got all these tabs open in your brain and you got to learn how to shut those things down. Most of us live like that because we're always in technology, always on social media, always on the go. Slow is literally the new luxury. Slow mornings, just not having to be tied to technology and all of those things. Being able to get up when you want to, like that's the real luxury right now. But in all of that is just like shut up. He on Facebook talking some, yeah, pretty much. Because we have so much going on, because we have so many access points, feelings, everything is touching us. We don't have time or just quiet time to hear from the Lord. And so, he's been big on me just not always answering the phone for this reason. Like, girl, I'm talking to you. Actually, go read your Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, on me about these things. So, most times when I'm in the car, I'm either listening to an audiobook or I'm sitting in quiet time, just like praying or just hearing from the Lord. And so you got to get to that space. But until then, what does he do? He waits until we go to sleep so he can give us dreams. That's literally what he's doing here. Jacob was running. That baby was on the run. And he only stopped because it was night and it was dark and he didn't know where he was going. He had to intervene. All right, well, it's nighttime. Go ahead and go to sleep. Then he gave him the dream. God has been speaking to you too. Are you paying attention? Please write down your dreams. That's another thing I gotta do. I'm saying this so y'all can hold me accountable. The dream journal is almost done. But I need to get it out to you before this year ends because the Lord is speaking. That's an end time situation too, where everybody's getting dreams. The Lord is speaking. You need to be writing the dreams down. He's not obligated to repeat himself. Pay attention to everything that he's sharing to you in these dreams. What does it look like? Pay attention to the colors. How does it feel? Like, focus on all of your senses, all of them, to recall the dream. So that's another reason why I'm big on slow mornings. And so I, yes, and if you don't, just ask him to recall it. If it's important, he'll bring it back. But you know, Pastor John and I have definitely gotten into the habit, and even if they're not intense, write them down anyway because you'd be surprised. Sometimes it's the subtle ones that give you the most detail that you need to be paying attention to. Shoot, I've had some dreams about America being judged, and so that's another reason why I'm just like, oh yeah, you need to be on your face praying about this thing because he's not playing with us. It's serious. And so when you write those dreams down, number one, it shows God you are trustworthy. He can trust you with more. Number two, it shows that you know you are being diligent. Because how diligent are we? How consistent are we? Our consistency as the body of Christ sucks most times, and so sometimes He will give you the interpretation of the dream. You'll get it immediately. You'll understand the symbolism and know what it means and whether it's a warning or instruction or whatever the case may be. Then other times you just gotta let that thing sit on the shelf. Well, how you letting it sit on the shelf if it's just in your memory? Your memory ain't that great. You go in one room for one thing, forget what you went in the room for, go back to the next one and go, oh yeah, I needed to get the remote control or something, and then go back and forget it again. How do you expect yourself to remember a dream? Please, somebody let me know. Please, somebody let me know. Write down your dreams. 10-second Trisha here. For a reason, I call my. I know. I'm not. My memory is not worth two nickels rubbed together. I have to write it down. I'm writing it down. If I don't write it down, if we don't have a calendar date, we can say we're going to meet on June 1st and we're going to go to Basis for brunch. Okay, baby, if it's not in my calendar, all them plans in that text message, they're dead. It's not happening. Same thing with God. So you have to get to a space where you're surrendering. Number two, you gotta allow yourself to dream. That is also a point I'll share where the enemy will try to attack you too. So be on guard. Number three, you gotta know God is with you. Even in all your wretchedness, He still be there. Remember, I told you, I don't know what's happening, but revival is here. We did the whole Nehemiah series about revival on the way. Revival is here. And how I feel about how my kids are, oh baby, always come home. You can always come home. We are looking to build more space to make sure that even though they're getting older and we technically will be empty nesters soon, baby, you can always come home. You don't have to be homeless or whatever the case may be. There's always going to be space for you. Come home. Come home, let's figure it out. God is the same way. God is with you. Even when He don't like what you do. How many times have your parents been like, you know, I love you, but I don't really like that decision you're going to make. I don't think you should do that, and we do it anyway. Nobody, well, the real ones, the ones that I know, they don't just be like, well, you're not my child anymore. I'm disowning you. We're done. No. God is with you. So you got to know that. You got to know that. Another thing I want to call out is that your exile is temporary. You got to refer to point 2 to understand that, okay? God is with you. So even though He's being exiled, I'm just calling it that, right? He's being exiled. You got to go, but it's to save your life. It's just to save your life because you just made some dumb decisions. So I'm moving you to protect you. So that way you're still here, okay? Crazy thing is, spoiler alert, he is a scammer and goes and runs to safety, and his safety scams him. Meets the love of his life. He like, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry her. Work for you 7 years, that's a breeze, say less. And gets the ugly cross-eyed sister. Why would you do me like that? And you gonna trick me on my wedding day? So all this time I've been working to get the younger sister, the pretty one, the one I met and fell in love with. You never tried to marry this one off knowing that's the rule? That's your custom? You just sneak her in on my wedding night? Not the scammer getting scammed. It was just like poetic justice. And then he had to work another 7 years to get his one true love. And so because he's had this character issue his whole life, God is allowing the exile to purge him. The wilderness is always just to humble you, to prove you, and to do you good in the latter end. So he's allowing this time away into his little wilderness. He's exiled away from the family. Remember, that's the most important piece to him. If you do all of these things and get me back to my daddy's house, then I'll call you my God. So he's allowing, I'm preserving your life. I'm giving you an exile because how you was acting was going to how you did. So I'm saving your life. You don't like the process, but trust me, I got you. We don't trust him yet. Jacob don't trust him yet. We throwing hissy fits and doing all the things. Trust me, I got you. How many people say they got you and really got you? God really be like that. I got you. And we don't trust it. Because how many other people let us down? God, he didn't even lead his boy as a scammer. Didn't leave him. Got the angels, Secret Service working on his behalf. Okay? Sending messages back up to heaven, bringing messages down from heaven. They're going up and down the staircase. They're going up and down the ladder on his behalf. We see the portal open and we get a glimpse into the spirit world of what's happening on behalf of Jacob. Jacob is not an upstanding citizen, let alone even a member of the kingdom yet. And God is doing all of this for him. What do you think he would do for you? You've already been bought. You've already been paid for. You're his daughter. Do you know how hard it is to submit to God just as a kingdom member? And then you want to go deeper and he starts calling you daughter or friend. Because, baby, you know how we talk to our friends. God want to talk to you like that too. But you don't want to surrender and you don't trust him. I know it's exile. I know it don't feel good. I know you want to be home. I know you don't like this circumstance. But trust me, I got you. You just got to walk through this process. I know it's uncomfortable, but I got you. Just trust me. That's literally what he's saying here. I got you. Your exile is temporary. It's temporary. And if you know God is with you, you wouldn't even trip. Stop worrying about the timeline. Stop worrying about how you feel. It's uncomfortable in seasons of growth. When I tell you I'm sweating like my kids say a pig. Pigs don't even sweat. I'm sweating like crazy. I'm talking about sweating past my brows, like sweat into my eyes when I'm working. I hate all of that. It's so uncomfortable, but it's so necessary in this season. The Lord is on me about it. If you don't build it, you better build this ark, and you don't got much time left. So if you don't build it, and you need to start with building your body for this ark, when the flood comes, baby, you're not going to be saved. I appreciate that honesty. Just trust me, I got you, but you got to do this work, Trisha. Trust me. I know it's not conventional. I know you ordained, actually. Today is my 7th year being ordained as a prophet, June 1st. Year 7. Crazy. I don't do nothing traditional. He got me out here in the world teaching dance. We ain't dancing the gospel songs. I wasn't even listening to secular music before I started doing these dances. But I touched so many people that would never step foot in the church, that maybe don't even have great relationships with Christians, and they love me. So he's going to have you do, and we'll talk about this more in June too, for the June prophecy. He's going to have you do unconventional things. He's going to have you be in places that just don't make sense to people. because you know how the church is. Oh, she called herself a prophet and she out here twerking and she out here doing this. Trust me, I got you. Because my character is impeccable. Maybe I'm the same way in the pulpit, out the pulpit, at work, in front of people, behind closed doors. I don't switch up. This is what you get, and that's the scary part for y'all. Because everybody be acting like they something when people watch, and then when you get behind the veil, you're like, ooh, you worse than, ooh. I thought I was bad. I thought I had some things to work on, and the Lord couldn't use me until I got these together. And you're being used acting like this? Time out for that, though. Okay, so we got to tighten that up, too. Okay, so how you find your access point? You got to surrender. You got to know God is with you. You got to know that your exile is temporary. You got to allow yourself to dream. Most importantly, which is why we're here day one of the first fruit fast, you got to consecrate your space. Do you think God would accept anything anointed if it wasn't first consecrated? That means you are set apart. You don't get to be like everybody else. So yes, I'm in the world. I'm about to go to the Zumba conference, and that, listen, y'all, the itinerary feels like club, another club, no sleep, another club. I'm talking about the pre-day is a party, a big party. And so I'm here to learn and make connections. So, all right, I'm gonna come to the party. I don't drink though. So you're gonna see me drink mocktails the whole weekend, which is fine. You know, that's cool. It's like dancing from 9 in the morning till 2 in the evening, like a.m. Like we in the next day. The schedule's crazy, and most of it is just like it's parties. You gotta be a light in the dark. Your character can't switch up. You don't get to act like everybody else. You get tested in that. I just don't care. I'm not scared of no dang nobody. But with that, you gotta consecrate your space. Cleanliness is next to godliness is a real thing. Because when you are spiritually clean, when your house is clean, when your room is clean and organized, you sleep better. I can't sleep in a dusty, crusty room no more. It just does something to me. It messes up my spirit. You have to make sure that you are. Where's my book? Y'all know the book I'm talking about. I always talk about it. Cleaning the house. Cheese and crackers. Is it going? I know I didn't load it down. There it is. Spiritual house cleaning. Spiritual house cleaning. I recommend everybody get one of these. Yeah. You gotta keep your space clean. So how are you consecrated and set apart from the Lord when you're not walking clean? You need to be living a clean life. For real. Not a perfect life. Jesus was the only person that will ever be perfect on this earth. But you need to live a clean life. You can't afford to be like everybody else. You know why I know I can't afford to be like everybody else? Because I be needing them blessings. I be needing him to show up with the money. I be needing him to open up doors that nobody else can open up. So you need to consecrate your space. Before he anointed that rock, and what do we call it? Bethel is house of God. Fun fact, I'll tell you this before we move on. I was praying for this house that we're in right now. You know, everybody jokes about not wanting to make videos because they got brown cabinets. You got cabinets. Be grateful, okay? Because a cabinet is a cabinet. Does it do the thing that you needed to do? Okay, bet. I used to be recording like a mug in my little kitchen with carpet that was like this big, literally. We bumping into, me and John bumping into each other in the kitchen. The refrigerator was older than all of us. It had to be made in the 60s. It was green. It was green. The stove was green. So you know it was old. That pale green too. I didn't even want to go in the house. I said, Lord, this can't be what you got for me. Got in there so much peace. He said, just trust me, this is temporary. I know you don't like it, but trust me, I got you, right? So he has me. I have 2 more kids. We fill up the space quickly. And then he tells me, you need to start praying for your next house. Bet. Say less, Lord. We about to do it. What do you need me to do? I need you to write out everything that you need in the house. So the first thing I write is this office. I need my own space because I literally have to share everything with everybody. Okay? So this is supposed to be my own space. This is where I get to create, and this is why it has the vibe that it had. My business paid for all of this stuff. Okay? Not y'all, my business. Shout out to God for giving me business. Okay? So this was the first room that I did. This is the first room that I wrote down. I wanted to have enough space for all the kids. We love to cook. People always come over. Even when our house was small with the brown cabinets, everybody would pile in. I'm talking about people that got $1 million houses and they're like, but you cook. It feels peaceful here. We feel welcome here. We want to be here. Okay, well, come on. Y'all know that's just how I am. Come on. So we need a bigger kitchen. We need a bigger dining room space. I would love an open concept because this is already the vibe that we have. We're going to cook. We're going to have people over. It's just family, but our family is big, so we need enough space for that. Shoot, we got 5 kids, so it's 7 of us. We need space for that, right? Then you got extended family, brothers and sisters, people we've adopted as family, you know, they come over. We need space for that, Lord. I run down the list of all of the things that we need to have in this house. I don't know what this house is just yet, okay? I wasn't tripping about what color the cabinets were. I don't care. Do you have all of these things? You know how I tell you about the marriage list? My marriage list of qualities that I look for in a husband, none of them are aesthetically pleasing. It wasn't, you got to be this tall. You got to do, I think my only caveat at the end was like, can he be black, Lord? Because have you met me? I don't know that I got the patience to be trying to explain all of that to my friend. Sure, we'll figure that. But my man, I don't think I could do that. But that was just like an afterthought. It wasn't like he has to look like this. He has to, I need a light-skinned man with tattoos. I don't care. Does he have these qualities? Is his integrity straight? Is he generous? Because stop trying to go for rich men. It's generous men that will give you anything and everything that treat you better than a millionaire that's just stingy. But they're a millionaire. They don't have good character though. They're selfish. So I look at those pieces. So I give the list to the Lord. He says, okay, submit it to prayer. And then you need to name the house. I said, name a house? Now, mind you, we actually come from like a church that named their house. Their house had a name. And I was just like, I'm never naming my house. He said, oh, yes, you are. I said, so what's the name? Because I'm not naming it. He said, you'll call this house Bethel. So when I would pray for the house, I would take the list and I would pray for, Lord, I thank you in advance for Bethel. I know you're making Bethel happen for us. It being a new build was not on my to-do list. I didn't care. The colors that we would have here, I didn't care. Fun fact, we got this house just before COVID. Somebody built this house as their dream house. And when COVID happened, they ended up having to back out of the deal. We thank God that they had to back out of the deal. Why? Because it cut the price on this house down to where we actually could afford it. They built this house for us and didn't even know it. I had seen this house before just when they walked away from it. And I was like, John, I think we should go look at this house. And he was like, that's too much money. We can't look at that house. And then our realtor took us in this neighborhood and he showed us another house. And I was like, can we look at this one? This was the house. And he was like, I got one more on the next street over. It's similar, but it's flipped. It's not as much land. This is an acre. That one doesn't have an acre. And the parking is crazy. So I'm so glad we chose this house. But I saw this one. I had already been praying for it. I did that during a space where we had consecrated not only the space, but ourselves. So you surrender. You know God is with you. You got to know your exile is temporary. You got to allow yourself to dream. You got to know that it's time to consecrate your space, but then you consecrate yourself. So that's one of the most important pieces when it comes to fasting and why we do the first fruit fast. It's literally us consecrating ourselves because, hello, we live in a crazy world, right? Not only do we live in a crazy world, I work with the world. I am literally light in a dark place. So it's easy if you stick around long enough, and if you're not careful, that you start thinking like the world because you're always around them. So you need to be consecrating. You need to be giving yourself as a first fruit unto the Lord, because I'm in this world, I'm not of it. I don't want to be of it. Help purge me, cleanse me, use me, Lord. Help me get everything out that's not looking like you. That's when you see the miracles happen. That's when you see the signs happen. That's when you see the wonders happen. That's when you see the contracts open up and get signed and the deals get closed. You got to make sure that you're doing your part. This is how you find your access point. Consecrate yourself. So some people, they get caught up in one way of doing things, right? And that's how we get into like religiosity, just being super religious. We're already studying that, right? Doing things for the sake of doing the thing. And so then you feel good. I don't eat meat, right? The vegans, they're saving the world. I don't eat meat. But you're a terrible person. You're so mean. If you're not an animal, you don't care about people. That's not great. That's not great. Okay? No, thank you. Same principle as like the modern day Pharisees. We already see in the text that the olden time Pharisees, they were following the rules to the T for ceremonial sake, but behind closed doors, they were a wreck. But they didn't care as long as they were keeping up appearances. No, no, we can't do that. You have to make sure that you're consecrating. And so the Bible says when you fast, it doesn't give a specific amount of time. It says when you fast. So I always recommend you pray. Ask the Lord when you need to fast. He told me we're fasting first 3 days of the month. You're giving the first fruit to the Lord. And my spiritual leader at the time was doing the same thing. So I just followed the model. Medina Pullins is actually where I got this from. So shout out to her. And I would get on 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Sometimes she have us on that call at 4, y'all. So that's why I be looking at y'all sideways like, we done already switched the time to 7. I'm gonna need y'all to wake up because baby, she had us on that line. We was on that line at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about going in. All of us. Wasn't nobody getting to be quiet. All of us was on the line going in. So I'll just be looking at y'all like, cause she wasn't never. Okay. So you gotta make sure you're consecrating yourselves. It's important. You need that constant purge. I'm telling you, as just a person that's really important, and my wheelhouse is health and wellness. You gotta detox consistently. Our food already isn't the best here. So people always talk about when my overseas friends, oh yeah, we deworm. And y'all need to be deworming regularly too. Y'all food is worse than ours. We don't do those things. So just think of your first 3-day fasting as like a spiritual deworming. Ain't that crazy? But think about it. All the things that taste great really aren't usually good for us. Sugar is terrible for us. It's really bad for us. But it tastes amazing. So we have to do these things to make sure that we are purging our spirits, purging our flesh, killing that flesh. Okay, so y'all know I love the rapper KB. I love him because he's usually very biblically sound. He loves to have a little fun. He gonna throw some worship in there. It's gonna be a nice beat. I'm here for it. But some of the verbiage that he uses in a lot of his songs is like, the old me is dead. I'm dead. Like, who you knew, that old person, she's dead. Because I'm constantly trying to work to kill my flesh. You know how many times I want to be like, and the Lord be like, forgive him. That's not fun. But my flesh would love to finish that work. Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. You gotta stay consecrated. What Ken Jones used to say, I'm gonna stay saved. Whew. That's like working a full-time job sometimes, and that's okay. You gotta do it though. Okay. All right. Let's get to the last 2 points. You have to increase your discernment. What did he say? Surely the Lord was in this place. I knew it not. So where were your spiritual antennas? You got to increase your discernment. This is how I know. People smile in my face and they say all the right things. Oh my gosh, I love you, Madam President. You're amazing. And the Lord be like, that person don't like you. Actually, that person is a witch. You probably should watch that person because that person is preying on your downfall. I'm going to give you a little tidbit. So, y'all know we are studying Daniel next. And so I'm already in there, right? Already been taking notes and doing all the things. One thing I noticed, Daniel is a force to be reckoned with. Here's why. Daniel stays consecrated. Daniel keeps his space consecrated. And so even though all of the kings keep changing, Daniel serves in this space for like a span of 80 years. Kings change. This little Hebrew boy that was a slave that we captured because we won from the war, turned into a eunuch, took them parts, baby, okay? We took your land, we took your family, took them parts. You're not ever going to have a family, okay? But you're going to serve me. Now I'm going to give you the king's meat and teach you my ways and indoctrinate you for 3 years. And he never folded. He stood 10 toes down on his faith the entire time. And he served a span of almost 80 years. Kings changed like we change our underwear, okay? They was in and out. They was in and out of there. Daniel, he stayed around. Why? Because he was solid. And here's the thing. He was solid and people would still try him. The kings sometimes would get played. One of them was like, oh, y'all got to worship me. And if you don't, you got to go into a den with the lions. Not realizing Daniel's the only one that's going to be going into the den with the lions. Because Daniel was solid. He was solid. 10 toes down on his faith. He never folded. Was he perfect? No. Did he drink wine sometimes? Probably. I hate when they be like the Daniel fast. He ate regular food, but during that time he was consecrated. Because you just took me from my home. You just cut off my private parts. I'm not giving into your ways. He stood 10 toes down. And every time the enemy came after him, every time they came for his position, he got a promotion. You got to make sure you're on top of your game. You got to make sure you're staying consecrated. You got to make sure your spaces are being consecrated. Because why? The weapons are always going to form. They're not supposed to prosper. Now, if you weak, because I'm just going to call a spade if you weak, because that's what the enemy likes to do. He likes to use us when we're weak. He likes to make sure we're in a space of unforgiveness. He likes to make sure that we are in spaces where we just are numbing ourselves from feeling things because we don't know how to process feelings. And that's what therapists are for. You can get a good Christian therapist too. We believe in Jesus and therapy around here. We believe in EMDR therapy to help you process trauma. You can do the work to where you actually can process these feelings and not be feeling the things. And you can talk about a situation that was traumatizing to you and you not be crying about it. It's very important because if you don't heal those things, if you don't heal those access points, because just like we're finding access points to where God will honor what we're trying to do, you don't think the enemy is not looking at us to see what access points he can get into? I'm just saying. So you got to make sure you're not being weak, because it's always in our weakness when we're not leaning on the Lord that we get into trouble. Okay? Don't let the enemy gain ground and take access points, because then he be trying to be like a leech. This is my house. Where is the motherboard? Because I need to take over. Don't allow that. Okay? So I say all that to say, increase your discernment. Daniel knew who was for him and who was against him. It never stopped him from getting promoted. It never stopped the kings from using him. It never stopped him from being the right hand. He lived a consecrated life. He was able to find these access points. God spoke to him in dreams, but he lived a set apart life. You got to be set apart, okay? Last thing is to forgive yourself. You know why? We just talked about it. Because when you don't, it's an access point of weakness. The only weakness we're supposed to have is turning everything over to the Lord. Because when we're weak, He's made strong. Give it to Him, okay? So I just want to close with, please know you're protected. Please know you're protected. Because Jacob has this very spotty past. He's a scammer, right? Like, he's literally fleeing from the consequences of his own actions. He's fleeing because he has character flaws that he has not been willing to work on. And the Lord is like, oh, okay. Well, guess what? We're going to exile you. But trust me, I got you. But you're going to work through this stuff. You got to work through it in a season. You got to work through it, whatever it is. He's with you. Even if your character's spotty right now, He's with you. Even though you made that mistake, He's with you. Just trust Him. But you got to walk through this. That's how you get your breakthrough. And you might feel like you're breaking, but you don't get your breakthrough until you break. So allow it to happen. Because when you're weak, that's when He's allowed to be made strong. Trust Him. Okay? Because here's the thing. Flaws and all, we know Jacob is a scammer and God still chose him. We know he's not the best choice, but Esau wasn't that great either, if we're being honest. Not you doing things purposely that dishonor God to get at your parents. That's not a good heart. God shows us that to let us know, like, no, Jacob needed to be the one that was chosen. I can work with somebody that maybe just don't know just yet. If you do these things, then I'll trust you. Okay, I can work with that. Now somebody seeing who I am, knowing who I am, and choosing purposely to go defile themselves. So he saw all of these things and still chose him. We got the prophecy about him in the womb being the first, even though he was the youngest. God still chose him. God made this promise to his parents, knowing the type of person that he was going to be. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. He knew how he was going to be. He knew how Jacob was going to be in that moment. Just goes to show how intimately God knows you and He still chooses you. But what do? Disqualify ourselves. How are you going to disqualify yourself? And I chose you. But I don't know enough scriptures of the Bible. I don't feel like I live holy enough. Like, we put all of these standards on ourselves when we just need to be in our word, seeking the Lord and allowing Him to do it what He needs to do. He knows you intimately and still chose you. Your assignment still needs to be handled by you. You still got to write them books. You still got to come back to ministry. You still got to make that album. Still got to do it. You still got to get married again. Even though you said you never going to get married again. You still got to do it. It's ministry. Marriage is never about husband and wife. It's about blessing the Lord. It's about making sure the kingdom is glorified. So it ain't about you. And you still not going to be perfect this time either. Okay? Love you. So, I just want to end with the first promise that He gave us, right? Behold is really how it started. I said, oh, He said my favorite word. This is our word for the year. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land, which is your home. I'm going to bring you back home. I'm going to bring you back home, but I will not leave you until I have done what I promised you. You didn't even ask for this, but I promised your parents I was going to do this thing. I promised your grandparents I was going to do this thing. You don't even know me like that just yet. You know of me. This is your first authentic God experience with me. This is your first authentic God encounter with me. But you don't trust me just yet. I promise I'm going to keep my word. Just trust me. Will you trust Him? I promise I don't be meaning to holler, but you know the gift that he gave me is to be the mirror. You sometimes you gotta see. You got a little something in your nose. Only a good friend gonna tell you that. Some people will watch you have something in your teeth and on your lips and a little soup dribbled on your chin, a little boogie in your nose, and never say anything. And then you walk away and you get to a mirror, you're like mortified because why would you let me? Why you ain't say nothing? I'm not that person. I'm always gonna look out, whether you like it or not. And most times because it's it's the truth. I make sure I want to tell it in love, but I know it don't feel good. That's okay, cause when God be lighting me up during prayer time in the morning while I'm sleepy, it don't feel good. But I know He do it cause He love me. So just know I love you. Behold, He said, behold, I'm with you, and I will keep you. God is with you. He's gonna keep you wherever you go, even when you ain't acting right, even when you don't want to be kept. I'm telling you, He will keep you even when you don't want to be kept. I need you to trust God. Type in the comments, I trust God. That's all I'm asking. I just need you to know He knows you. He knows all your flaws, and He still chose you. And listen, if you can't say amen, say ouch. But I trust God. That's gonna be our mantra for the first day. I trust you, Lord. Like you really got to get to a space where you trust Him, because the access point that we need to get to where I'm telling you, is no amount of hours that I could work to get what I need. None. I promise. It's always been that way. He's always been like, but I want to be Jehovah Jireh, your provider. I want to do that. And then I go and pray and I fast and I get on my face and I'm just worshiping. Sometimes it's just worship. Just read my word and worship it. Boom. Get a little chime, get a PayPal notification or something. And it's exactly what I need. I got a consultation or something. And it's exactly what I need for what I was praying for. Or it could pay this bill, or it could do this. God wants to do it for you, but you got to trust Him. Okay? So I love you. I hope that this blessed you. We will be back on first thing in the morning for prayer. And we will be jumping into, what will we be jumping into? John. I don't know why I want to say James so bad. We'll be jumping into John, I believe, chapter 19. I believe it's 19. And then we have chapter 20 and 21. The week after that will be June 22nd. I will be out of town for my birthday. Pastor John is going to take care of y'all that day and give you a word. So, cover girls, y'all got the prayer, right? Please, during this fast, I want you to write down everything. Yep, we're on John chapter 19. Write down everything. I'm talking about all the feelings that you're feeling, how hungry you get, all of the things, because I need you to pay attention to the landmarks, pay attention to the patterns. You have to make sure that you're getting to a space where your mind is stronger than your flesh. You got to be able to tell your body, oh no, we're not hungry right now. We're going to eat some word right now. That's it. We're going to drink some worship right now. But this is going to be a pivotal fast, and with it being a pivotal fast, you know the enemy don't want you to change. He don't want you to grow. He don't want you to break these chains. So I'm just giving you the preface. Better have your armor on, because we got work to do. So write down all the things. I want you to journal everything that you're feeling. I want you to journal the scriptures that you're meditating on, the things that the Lord says to you, your dreams. Pay attention, because God is moving in this season. And so you're going to get some specific instructions before, during, and after this fast. And I'm saying before because we're recording the night before. So as you go to sleep and have dreams, you're going to get some instruction. You're going to get some warning. You're going to get some things that you need to do. And so discipline is really going to be key in this fast. And that discipline is really just making sure your mind is stronger than your flesh, and really putting that flesh to death. So telling yourself no, not treating yourself when you in your feels and all the things, but prepare yourselves because greater is on the other side. The harvest is here. Okay, revival is here. And so we got things we need to do because God is moving. So that means we need to be on point like Daniel was. Okay. I was not intending to be on this long. That is crazy. Y'all know I don't believe in being on lives for just hours. I'd be like, y'all know it's things to do outside of this. And y'all ain't got no jobs. Like, how y'all just stay on live all day? That's crazy to me. So I love y'all, but clearly y'all needed this. And the Lord needed me to say the thing. So I hope you have a great night. I'll see y'all first thing in the morning for prayer, and then we'll do morning manna. Okay, bye.